What is going on, you guys?
It is your favorite Detroit Lions fan. And we are finally back with the
And
yes. And the we're back with the NFL podcast. I think the last time I did this was
Last year's preseason game, and then I never did it again. But that was because I was getting bored. But now, to my right, we have the leader of the group, Mr. 600 subscribers.
all right, baby.
We got Pringleson, aka Tyler, into this.
I don't need to go. I don't need to go full screen anymore. I can do other things.
We just got finished with our our
Yep,
NASCAR podcast.
that's right.
Which, if you guys want to go see that, you're a big fan of NASCAR, go ahead to his channel. And, you know, you'll see all that. But today, he went to the NFL draft of the 2024 NFL draft, where it was in Detroit.
That's right, baby. That's right.
So,
It was in Detroit.
first, before we do that, who are you a big fan of? And all that.
Well, if you know me at all, then you know that it is. If you know me at all, you know that I am a massive Detroit Lions fan. I will forever be a Detroit Lions fan. Back when I was like 11, thought, you know what? Screw this. The Lions suck. I'm not going to be a Lions fan anymore. And then I realized I can't root for any other teams because I hate them all. So I'm stuck with the Lions. Things turned out well, though. We made the NFC Championship, won the division, so things are looking on the up. But
now we'll never see Jeff of the Mellows probably on here until, Packers versus Lions, because, he's a cheesehead.
True.
As always.
True.
But, maybe we might keep doing this. Depends on how, of course, Tyler likes it, and how, of course, I like it. With that being said, mostly I'm going to have him talk about his experience with the NFL draft, and all that. But before I do that, I do want to say one thing, and that is the Fantasy Football League Championship is home to me. It is here. I didn't win the championship, but I won the league. The regular season title. So it is staying with me until someone can beat me. Anyways, that and also someone that I know got to be a part of the NFL draft, got to announce a draft pick for the Broncos.
Was it Sketch?
No.
Oh wait, he's a Texans fan. Continue.
I don't talk to people who are Texans fans.
Well, I don't talk to people who are Broncos fans, so maybe we shouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
A Broncos fan, though. That's the thing.
So why did he get to make the pick for the Broncos?
I don't know.
He walks up there to make the pick for the Broncos, and he's like, "Whoa, go Lions, baby! Whoa, I'm actually a Lions fan." They kick him off the stage or something. That'd be funny.
I don't know, but yeah, she got to be a part of it, and it was interesting. But now, let's get to what your experience was at the Detroit NFL draft.
That's right, baby. So I was really going to do a video about this on my channel, but I realized it would be a better idea to revive this podcast so we could talk about it there. Because it was actually pretty fun. Everything was free. Well, not everything was free, but the tickets were free to go. And it was funny. We didn't even need the tickets. We got them, and then we never used them, which was weird. Anyways, we rolled down to Detroit. We went to day 2, by the way. We didn't go to the day 1 or day 3. We only went to day 2. We rolled down about 2:30. Stayed till about 9:30, so about 7 hours that we were there. And it was pretty fun. We went into one of the casinos, and then we walked down to where all the stuff was going on. It was quite expansive, actually. There were like posters up all over the place. I sent some pictures in the sports chat on the server. I sent some pictures of some of like the banners or whatever that they had up around on some of the buildings in the city. And then like there were a lot of the areas where stuff was going on. There was like parks, and a lot of these parks had like bars in them, and as well as like areas to stand around, and they had TV set up for draft coverage, and there was not really much to do in most of the parks otherwise. Yep, I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. But mostly, there wasn't much to do until you got to the area where. Hey! Ow!
Sorry, guys.
Wait. 1 second. I'm getting a cord chewed. I don't want to get cut off in sporadics.
Yeah, we've had that happen a lot in the NASCAR podcast, so just bear with us.
Out.
Trust me, it's
Out.
Like having a cat.
Go. Get out. Hey. Out.
It's so funny seeing
Go.
you do this.
Okay. There we go.
All right, continue.
Problem fixed. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, parks. We rolled down, walked around some of the parks. But the main stuff we had to go in one of the areas was on Woodward. We walked down Woodward to get to the Renaissance Center, and then all the stuff was around there. And there was a story passed while we were walking along Woodward. And oh, by the way, the Tigers were playing the day that we were there. They were playing the Royals, and they lost. So that was disappointing. Anyway, walked down Woodward, saw the store, and an NFL draft merch in it, had shirts and hats. Way too overpriced, obviously. Didn't buy anything. Didn't buy any merch, sadly. Wanted to, but I didn't get the chance to. But anyway, other than that, we walked down and then went to the main area where all the stuff was going on. And they had a bunch of cool stuff, like down by where the Renaissance Center was on the river. There was the Lombardi Trophy. There was the Super Bowl rings. There was a meet and greet for players and other people. And then there was the Little Caesars spot that was cool. Food was there, and there was the shop for buying stuff and a few other things as well. They had like helmets set up of all 32 teams, like giant helmets that you could take pictures by, and none of the helmets had anybody near them really. Lions one, obviously, there's a giant line for pictures in front of the Lions one, so that was cool. Anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, I wanted to go to the shop. It was like, you know what, NASCAR races, how like the shops are like the trailers, right? The haulers.
Right.
Yeah, it was this. It was like this for the draft too. They were all like haulers. Felt like I was back at the NASCAR race.
Mm-hmm.
And the line was massive for the one that had all the draft merch in it. So I was like, I'm not waiting 2 hours for a potential pin. I couldn't see what like was in there. That's a problem. Like if there was actually a pin in there and I could tell, like, okay, maybe I'll wait this line out. But it wasn't worth it. But anyways, right as we were walking into the area, we see this big crowd start to form around this tent. And we're like, what's going on here? Well, we found out that Barry Sanders was in there, and he was going to be coming out of the tent very soon. And we picked like the most perfect spot. It was like right along the path that they were making for Barry in his golf cart. And we were like, there was a golf cart like right there. And we're like, awesome. I'm wearing my Barry Sanders jersey. I can get it signed by Barry Sanders. This is going to be fucking sweet, right? And then he comes out. We waited like 10 minutes. He comes out. He gets in a different golf cart. He juked us out. He got us in a different golf cart. and then drove off, and I got that picture of him that you showed. As he passed, we saw Calvin Johnson as well for just a split second, going by on a golf cart. That was pretty cool. We got to see some of the cheerleaders too. That was pretty cool. That was pretty much it for people that we saw. But anyway, we walked around the area down by the river a little bit. I got a picture of the Lombardi Trophy, but not in the actual tent because there was way too long of a line. Same for the Super Bowl rings, but I've seen both of those at the NFL Hall of Fame, so it wasn't a massive loss there. And there was a few other things to do. We kind of walked around, and a lot of walking. There's a lot of walking around, I gotta say. But we kind of just wandered around and then saw what there was to see. Got some pictures, and then we found the stage where it all happens. We didn't think we'd get anywhere close to the stage because they made it seem like only a few select people could get in by the stage, right? That's not true. They lied to us because we got right up next to the stage and got pictures. And I wanted to reserve it. We were able to come back, that we did food. And here's an interesting thing that the NFL did here for the draft. They set up barricades in front of all of the businesses along like Woodward and like that area. Because that Woodward has like a Shake Shack, a Witch, all of them were covered by barricades. So if you wanted to go to the businesses, because they were still open, but if you wanted to go to them, you had to leave the area and then come back in. But there's only a limited capacity. So if they ran out of capacity, you couldn't come back in. That was kind of the catch. Like, yeah, you don't want to leave because you might not be able to get back in. So go buy our overpriced concession food. But it wasn't just any concession food, though. They did like team up with local businesses, and they were able to run the stands and get profit too. So it was all okay in the end. We got this really yummy chicken sandwich. It was had a kick to it too. It was pretty good. Some really good fries too from this like chicken place. It was cool. And then we went over and found our spot by the stage and got to watch the draft. And the draft itself was a lot of fun. We watched the second round only watched the second round. But it was packed. I think day one there was 275,000 people there. Day two there was 230,000 people there. The day I was there. And then they broke the record on day 3 for the most people ever to attend the draft. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Over 700,000 people attended the draft in total. That's pretty insane. Pretty insane stuff for sure. Now I gotta say, there's a one good word to sum up the draft is a lot. I know it's two words technically, but it's a lot. There's a lot of walking. There's a lot of weed. There's a lot of alcohol. Those 3 things: walking, weed, alcohol. You know, like the WWE? This is the WWA. Walking, weed, alcohol. So, yeah. So that was how that went. But then we watched the draft selections, and you were getting weed smoke blown into us, vape smoke blown into us, people bouncing around us with alcohol, and then people are going crazy because Detroit only made 1 pick day 2. And when the sun went down and the lights kind of came on that they had, it was really, really cool. It had its like blue glow, and everybody's all packed up and stuff, and stage had a lot of lights in it. It was cool. We got to see Goodell, and that was pretty cool. And then the Lions finally made their pick, and that was awesome. The crowd reaction was insane. And another thing that they do, cool thing that they do for the draft is like they do prior to like the selections, they do a roll call for all the fan bases that are there. And I remember there were some fan bases that, obviously the Lions, they did the Lions last, and that got a massive, massive cheer, right? And then like the Packers, the Steelers, all got booed, and a few others got booed. But then there's like teams like the Cardinals, the Jets, and like the Chargers that just got like zero reactions. That was so funny.
I think
And there's
after
especially
when
it was
Aaron Rodgers left and got injured, or didn't leave, but when Aaron Rodgers got injured, I feel like
it was
a lot
just
of Jets fans just did not want to go anywhere.
it was especially depressing for the Chargers because they panned over to the Chargers section and there were only two people. It was so funny. Oh
There was
my
more
god.
people on TV though that were there, so it was like weird.
Oh, it was so funny. It was so funny. But I liked that part. And we met up with some cool people that were there. We met up with there was a couple Colts fans that were nice to talk to. A few other people too. Everybody seemed to like it. It was actually like the fans were pretty tame. You know, it's Detroit and there's a lot of weed and alcohol, so you think like rowdiness and stuff like that, but not really. Security was also quite lax. I remember they told us that there was going to be airport style security. Well, if anybody's ever been to an airport, you know that the wands, metal detectors, and screening like that. Basically, all we did was walk through a metal detector, and they had a bag policy. That was it, just like any other sporting event, pretty much. So, what was the point of calling it airport level security? That didn't make any sense to me. But oh well, I mean, other than that, it was pretty fun. Don't know really any other craziness that happened except getting stopped. When we were walking back to our car, we got stopped by a lady pulled over right next to us, and she's like, "Yeah, did you park on the street?" I thought she was gonna shoot me, and I was like, "No," and she just drove off. Weird encounter. But it was cool. I mean, really, another thing that shocked me, which I probably shouldn't have shocked me, but on TV when you watch the draft, right, it seems like there's just a lot of fan diversity. But not diversity like between like what people usually think of diversity, but they think of like there's a good mix of like all the different fan bases there. Here there wasn't really that. It was all pretty much Lions fans, and like sprinkled in just a few others. Like we saw just a sprinkle of Colts fans and a sprinkle of Steelers fans and a sprinkle of Bears fans, a sprinkle of Cowboys fans, no Chargers fans. I'm ripping on the Chargers, okay? Because I'm mad at them.
I don't blame them because, LA's far from Michigan, and they don't want to have to drive all the way down there and then all the way back and, have to take a couple days just to get there.
Right. But overall, it was fun. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't in Detroit because a lot of the activities were definitely home team oriented. So if it was anywhere else, I don't think I would have had nearly as fun. I mean, it would still be fun to go, but you would only really go for the draft itself. You wouldn't go for any of the other activities. So, unless it ever goes back to Detroit, which it might. It might.
I mean, next year
go back to Detroit. I don't see it. I don't see myself going to it again.
Next year, it's going to the frickin' Cheeseheads. So yeah.
That's really all I gotta say from the draft. It was fun.
Alrighty. So now we can take that and shove it into the books. I don't know why you're looking at me like that, but next we are going to talk. I'm going to do a little tiny rant real quick. And Tyler knows this very well. Gotta get close to the
I wish we'd went for day one. Day one had so much funny shit that happened. It was so funny.
Atlanta. You had one fucking job. I know you couldn't get the Ohio State receiver, but you have Kirk Cousins. Why in the fuck do you need Michael Penix Jr., of all players, the guy who finished second in the national championship, the guy who lost to Michigan?
Oh, that was so funny.
I have watched
I
so
loved
many
it.
videos of Falcons fans ready and waiting. This could be it. Just get a running back. Just get a running back. Michael Penix Jr. from Washington, they're like, why? You got Kirk Cousins. A good player, may I say, as us having to deal with him multiple years. He's a good player. But what's the point? What's the point in having him now? I don't...
That was just a little rant that I was doing because I feel bad for Falcon fans.
I know Tyler doesn't feel bad as anything.
But if I was a Falcons fan,
I will say, as far as like crazy out there picks for this draft, the only one that really did not make any sense at all, in my opinion, was that pick. Like, there's a few other teams that may have not completely addressed some of their bigger issues. But I thought most teams had solid drafts for sure.
right.
The Bears, they needed a quarterback because, they need a quarterback every other year at this point. So they draft Caleb Williams. Washington has a quarterback now. Whoever drafted third has a quarterback. Oh, the Patriots. They have a quarterback. They picked from North Carolina, known football powerhouse UNC here.
They could have picked Michael Penix Jr., the guy who
They could have picked
actually
Michael
went
Penix
to the national championship.
Here's the thing with Penix, though, okay? He has had 3 major injuries in his college career, and he's already 24. So when you go long term, he's not necessarily a great option, which only adds to the baffledness that Atlanta, of all teams, picked him.
I think at this point, Atlanta's just like, we've seen Kirk Cousins get injured multiple times before. Why not? The fans won't hate us if we just get another quarterback just in case.
That was probably the thought process. I don't feel bad for them. Anyway.
Other than that rant, I'm going to go do the list of the Detroit Lions draft picks. The first round, we were supposed to have the 29th round draft pick, but the
former America's favorite team, Dallas, traded with us for the number 24th pick. And America's favorite team, Detroit Lions, took Terrion Arnold,
cornerback from Alabama, which...
That's a good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
The Lions needed help in the secondary like there is no tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Number one, they had the third worst secondary in the NFL last season, which makes it even more impressive that they got to the NFC Championship and almost beat the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl with a 29th ranked secondary. Okay. Second, 2 starting corners are gone. Kirby Joseph and Cam Sutton. Thank God they're gone. But you need to replace them. This is a great rookie to do that with. Great stuff there. It would have been cool to get Kool-Aid McKinstry, though. I gotta say, having a player named Kool-Aid on your team when you already are like known for drinking the Kool-Aid, that's pretty cool. That would have been cool, I think. But oh well. I'd rather have the Lombardi Trophy than a cool name. That's all I gotta say.
when he got picked to the Saints, his face wanted to just die. I'm sorry, but I saw his face and I'm like, oh, I wanted you on our team. Trust me. Real quick, J.J. McCarthy's going to the Vikings. I can't wait for the Lions to keep destroying him because the only reason why he's good is because he had other good players around him. So just letting you know that, Viking fans. You guys ain't good.
If they rush him, the problem is they're going to rush him because their primary QB option right now, other than McCarthy, are Sam Darnold, who has been one of the biggest busts in recent memory for NFL players,
Right.
and Nick Mullins, who crumbles in high pressure situations in late games. So, they don't, and then there's McCarthy. So they're probably going to play Darnold week 1. He's going to be terrible. Then they're going to play Mullins week 2. He's going to be terrible. And they're going to put McCarthy in either in week 2 or week 3, and he's going to be rushed. And, eventually he'll probably find his footing. But like you said, he benefited from a really good run game, which benefited from a really good O-line and a good defense. When even in college, when he was supposed to throw the ball, most times he couldn't do so on a more consistent basis. If he throws like 20 or 30 times a game, okay, you're probably not going to win. But when like players are getting him to throw 40 or 50 times a game, he couldn't do it. And so that's where the Vikings are going to be in trouble. Unless Darnold has like a career comeback for the ages or Nick Mullins balls out for some reason, they're going to be stuck in some QB issues all season. So, which will be fun to watch because I'm a Lions fan.
And seeing the Packers, Bears, and Vikings all go down in the dumps makes Lions fans happy.
The Bears won't be any better than they were last season. I'm going to say it right now. Even if Caleb Williams is good, they don't have any really good receivers, and they don't have a good defense. And you know what? Chances are that Williams is going to be just like Justin Fields. To be honest, he's already kind of like Justin Fields, in my opinion. Really highly rated quarterback, goes to the Bears. He's not going to get the O-line that he wants. He's not going to get any good receivers, and then he's going to be the one that's blamed for it. And I really feel bad for Caleb Williams because I think if he went to a different team, he'd have a good chance to win. But it's going to be funny because it's the Bears.
You know
So.
what? There was a guy. I'm going to tell a little story. Of course, like I said, I was in Chicago this past weekend, and I got on a bus, and all I heard, because I was wearing this jersey, I was legit wearing this jersey just for shits and gigs, just to fuck with people. All I kept hearing was,
Dubbers! Dubbers!
I'm like, your
Dubbers!
kept losing the freaking games 24/7. Who won the NFC Championship last year? Huh. NFC North Champions, baby. I don't see a bear on there. I don't see a bear. But anyways, with the second round pick, number 61, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., cornerback from Missouri. He's also a good one. We needed another
Really good.
Also,
second round, the only other one that I want to touch on is why the fuck did Keon Coleman have to go to the goddamn Bills? What the fuck? Keon Coleman was projected to go in the 60s, and the Bills took him with their first pick.
I mean,
the problem is he's going to be good, and the Lions play the Bills at home this season. So Keon Coleman's going to go off in that game and beat the Lions because it's probably going to be on Thanksgiving. Watch. Mark my words right now. Keon Coleman, 200-yard receiving game on Thanksgiving in Detroit to beat the Lions. So they still going to get the game on Thanksgiving.
You other fans don't get what pain we're feeling right now. With Thanksgiving losing almost every year, and then for however many Super Bowls there's been where we haven't been to a single Super Bowl, and last year was our only chance. the only people that know what it feels like are teams that have almost been there. So, and I don't think the Cleveland Browns are going anywhere. But
nope.
Because if your team name is named Brown, the same color as shit, then yeah. Round 4, number 126th pick, Giovanni Manu, OT from British Columbia.
This is a questionable pick because he doesn't have any college experience. But I seen him. He definitely seems like a good player. I think the Lions could work him into a good player. Oh, yeah. I have hope.
Oh yeah. The next pick in the 4th round, at number 132, so not even a couple picks after that, Sion Vaki, I think that's his name, running back from Utah. I think that works well, especially having a third slot for David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. We just got to see how he does in the preseason to see if he's.
Wait, they took a running back?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why did they take a running back?
Yeah, they took a running back in the 4th round.
What the fuck?
But the next pick, this was round 6, so we didn't even have a pick in the 5th round. Round 6 with the 189th pick, Maki Wingu, defensive tackle, LSU, which is decent. And then last but not least, the last pick for Detroit, round 6, number 210, Christian Mahonigi, guard from Boston College. It says right here that he also did not allow a sack and posted a 0.3% pressure rate, which was the 4th best among right guards in 2023. Which looks
nice.
Which kind of, I mean, doesn't fully, but kind of looks like another Aiden Hutchinson.
Anyways, I gotta say the Lions had a really good draft. They addressed the secondary situation. They boosted the line. The running back choice, not a good one in my opinion, but it's not a terrible one either. Because they definitely had issues with depth at the running back position, but that's only because Gibbs was inexperienced. But like Craig Reynolds provided himself as a good 3rd position. I don't know if they still have Craig Reynolds, but they might. I know Montgomery and Gibbs are going to be a beast tandem this year, and it's going to be good. It's going to be real good.
And then real quick, if we do keep doing this, it'll just be determined on how everything goes and all that. We will do like records for like preseason all-time preseason records or regular season all-time records, and who knows, maybe we'll have a crowned NFL podcast champion. Maybe
also shout out. We gotta give a shout out to the one Spartan drafted in the this year, Nick Samak, lineman, to the Ravens in the 7th round. I did not think an MSU player would get drafted this year, but I was proven wrong.
What else was I gonna say? Is there one more?
Also, I have to point out the only other really questionable draft I thought a team had was the Cowboys. It was kind of funny. Basically, they don't have a running back because Tony Pollard left. And so, not a very good draft for running backs. I mean, they had Blake Corum and a couple others that they could have drafted. But the Cowboys decided to take linemen instead. And then they signed Ezekiel Elliott back to the Cowboys. What the fuck are you doing?
Stupid is what they're doing. So, real quick, I know I never got to do it at all because, well, you know, I didn't do it.
No. Stop.
But let me tell you something. Let me tell you the rankings for the Lions this year. In passing, they were second all time in the NFL. They were fourth in receiving in the NFL rankings. They were third in first downs, fifth in rushing, because of, you got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs just piling it in rushing yards. Of course, Baltimore being first. And in points, fifth place. That was offense. For the defense, this is why when Tyler said that we needed this. In sacks, we only had 41. That's 23rd best. Interceptions, we had 16. 12th best. Decent. Forced fumbles, 20th. And in tackles, we had 27th. 662 tackles versus Indies that had 772. That's 110 more.
A lot.
And then special teams, we were second to last in field goals made.
Really?
Field goals, yeah, we were 31st.
Oh, that's because Campbell went out for it on fourth down every time.
True. But it sometimes worked.
Only sometimes, though, and not when you put the ball in the hands of Josh Reynolds because it just falls out.
Well, he's not on the team anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. Also, you couldn't hear me the entire time. He's not on the team anymore, so we don't have to worry about that.
I know.
Have fun being a Butterfinger somewhere else. All right. Field goal percentages, 11th, which isn't that bad. Extra points made, we were 6th. And extra point percentage, we were 27th. So basically, long story short, our offense is really good. Really, 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 really good. Just the defense needed to be fixed. I think we got it. And now, the one thing I think Detroit Lions need before we end this podcast off is Lions, please. Please. I'm talking to Dan Campbell.
Do not go for it on fourth down when you're inside the 50. Just go for the field goal, get 3 points, and run away with it. I mean, if you're down like 4, then yeah, go for it, But if you're down like 2 points or 3 points, just fucking tie the game. I mean, come on.
But what are you gonna do? Anyways, that's gonna do it for this NFL podcast. If you guys like it, let us know, because I think Tyler would be okay with it. I like it, so I really want to do it. If I don't do it, then most likely I'll probably either do baseball or hockey. But
why not all 3?
Because there's some people that don't want to do it.
What do you mean, some people?
I would ask Anne.
Why don't you just do it?
Because it's boring. I like it when there's 2 people, so that I can talk to someone and not talk to my.
I'm not doing 3 separate podcasts with you, Gary.
I know that. I'm not saying that.
You have to go find somebody off the street. I'm not doing it.
I love this group. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. Go check out Pringleson. He does amazing content.
Do it. Do it.
Thank you for the 2K views on my shorts. Never had that in my life.
Go watch my rant on the Bally Sports getting removed from Xfinity
I actually have not watched that yet. I'm gonna go do that. But,
Well, it's not up yet, so that's why you haven't watched it.
Yeah. All right.
Well, it will. It might be up by the time this video goes up. I don't know what your plan are. What your plan is for up.
To be honest, I might do it when the NASCAR podcast goes up too.
Yeah. Okay. Then it will be up because it goes up Thursday, so tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.